right, let's get you to Erik Spoelstra now. His Miami Heat, the 8th seed, with a 2-1 lead.
Update on Jimmy. Vic, we don't know right now. We'll get him checked out tomorrow, and then we'll have a better answer for you. I feel probably like how everybody, feels. It was a great win, but when you see a player go down like that, and particularly a player who's like Vic, who's gone through so much in the last 3 years, I don't know what it is right now, so I don't want to jump the gun on anything. But it's that's definitely not a good feeling to see Vic on the floor like that.
Erik, can you shed anything about, you guys sort of all rushed there, and as soon as Wes got out there, he was calling for the stretcher, and it looked like Vic was having no part of that when he saw that. Can you share anything that was said, or did Vic even know that they had wheeled it out or anything like that?
Well, I felt like he was either staring at me or at Wes, and he was like signaling, to come over there. Wes and I were standing right next to each other, just knew he didn't feel right. But then once the stretcher was out there, he's like, I'm not getting on that thing. So we'll just have to see. I feel like throwing up right now, but I don't know what the prognosis is. So, I want to stay positive, on this, and we'll just see what happens after we scan them tomorrow.
And one follow, Jimmy could have returned. It's just, or could.
Yeah.
You never. The lead was never.
Yeah. When he went back to the locker room, he said, "Hey, just give me a couple minutes. I'll be ready to go." We pushed the lead to 20. I was going to insert him back into the game, if it broke 15. But the second unit all night long gave us just a tremendous boost. They were so inspiring with their efforts, flying around and creating great offense. Each one of them put their fingerprints on the game. Obviously, Duncan made some big-time threes. Kyle was vintage. Vic was all over the place on both ends of the court, and Caleb was just, he was relentless with his energy. To the point of 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go, there's a loose ball. Like, don't go for that thing. He's fine, but he's wired that way. He doesn't know any other way. And to do tough things, what we're trying to do, to try to win this series, you have to have that mentality, regardless of whether you're up by, a big margin or not.
The three-point shooting wasn't necessarily a strength in the regular season, but other than shots just going in, what have you liked about the way you guys are generating the shots, and what's been different, I guess, in that area so far in this season?
Since when? That's the way I look at it. We've been one of the top three-point shooting teams since All-Star break, and a lot of guys have been contributing to that, and we're getting them in a lot of different ways. So I don't know. I hope everybody just continues to use the November, December scattering report.
Your thoughts on starting Kevin, and your thoughts on how that played out against this Bucks lineup?
Yeah, there's a lot of different levers to this. With GA out, it creates something different. With Tyler out, it creates something different. Until you actually go through something, you don't really know necessarily what the best course of action is. We just felt like this made the most sense, to start out a little bit bigger, to try to, protect the paint, rebound better, impose our will, physically a little bit more, and we were able to get to some dynamic lineups throughout the course of the game. It worked tonight, and, this is what the playoffs are all about. When you're in a long series, you're always trying to see who can blink first, and then who can impose their game more consistently. I think you can easily say that they did in game 2, we did in game 3, and we'll just rest up and gear up, for game 4.
They had 18 turnovers, and I think 13 were live ball. What did you like about the activity and just denying the post-ups, too? There were a lot of those deflections on the entry passes.
Yeah, we're at our best defensively when we're disruptive. That's certainly, the nature of this group. It's a little bit different than some other Miami Heat teams. And so you have to be all in on that. That takes a great emotional, mental, spiritual, physical commitment, to those kind of efforts to be really disruptive. And they're not an easy team to disrupt. They have a lot of spacing. They have, even with GA out, they have two guys where you can go with the ball and they can get something coherent. But we're able to, really fly around and make some things happen, which is where we are when we're at our best defensively.
Yeah, and there was that point early in the third quarter where Bam picked up his fourth foul, and then obviously Jimmy goes out later in the third quarter, and you guys were either able to hold on to that same lead or either build on the lead. How big were those stretches where not only your bench is producing, but able to either hold on or build your lead when your stars are on the bench?
Yeah, the second unit really came in with a mindset that they wanted to impact this game. And they were inspiring tonight. The one thing about it, since we've had a lot of different lineup changes and missed games, everybody's had an opportunity to contribute this season. So it's not like, when we get in foul trouble or something like that, and we feel like we have great depth, particularly in the front court. And Cody is a great option to be able to throw in there as really a third big, and he's a seasoned veteran, and he gives some really good minutes.
So part of the run in the first quarter when you guys started to really get some traction offensively was when Jimmy made those threes as they were backing off of him. We're going on a few years now of Jimmy's threes kind of going up in the playoffs, but what is that debate or philosophy is when he should take those shots when they are going to back off?
Yeah, if you're playing that far off, I feel like we've faced a similar coverage in years past. You have to take those shots. He's worked on it diligently. You have to keep defenses honest. It's not as if he's just pulling it out of the hat, right now at this time of the year. He really works at it, and those were the appropriate plays tonight. That's the thing about Jimmy. Like, whatever the play that you need to make, he'll make, even if it's not necessarily something that he's done all the time. And that's the coverage, and it might be something different, in Game 4.
With Kevin going into the starting lineup, going back to the second unit, it kind of felt like you were staggering him and Max basically the whole game just to make sure one of them was always on the court. How important is it for them when they're on the court to just have kind of like that green light, quick trigger with the threes and to space things for you guys?
Yeah, that's a great job, to have, to fly off screens, come off dribble handoffs, catch and shoots, and everybody on the bench is